All right, welcome to the final round. We are on the draw here. Hand does not work. Doesn't do it. We got dredgers, we got blood gas, we got amalgam, but no enabler, so we're shipping it. This hand does technically work, but is it worth it? It is severely lacking in green mana, which is an issue. It's also lacking in double red, so while this hand doesn't look like a one-lander, it in fact behaves very similar to a one-lander because we have no green and don't have double red. The sort of black-red land Dakmor salvage hand is not very functional, which is why you'll find our deck with 4 Gorges and 1 Pain land even over no... and only the 3 Black Leaf Cliffs, rather. I think on the draw with my Scry, I'm probably interested anyway. It is very, very slow. This is appealing, but doesn't solve any of my more systemic problems. But it's so hard to say no to. I think I'm going to keep that, but that is certainly very greedy. Gosh, this hand just gets blown up by discard spell too, which is unfortunate for a dredge hand, but... Fountain opt, so I guess most likely Jeskai, especially off of Tarn too, right? Field of Ruin though, I mean that's looking a lot more like blue-white, so it might just be a slightly different blue-white list. Unfortunately, I can only discard 1 card to this Brutality now, and my opponent is unlikely to put in something for me to hit with it, so I think we're just going to have to discard the Stinkweed Imp. If only we could just pitch a bunch of cards to it, that'd be great, but I think we're just going to have to discard the Stinkweed Imp. If I could discard both of these, maybe it'd be a little different, but... I guess the one advantage... Oh my. Yeah, we're going to get rid of one of those paths, but they also have a snap. I mean, at least they're land light, I suppose. But our hand is plenty dirtily, so... Does look like just blue-white. Just with opt, I guess. And some fetch land action. Probably indicates some kind of interest in Logic Knot if Scalding Tarn's in your blue-white list. But we will find out. This matchup is typically quite good for us, but I'm definitely concerned about the functionality of our hand. It's possible I should have went to 5 here. I think I got sort of baited, and by that I mean I think I made a real big mistake by keeping the 3-lander that's secretly a 1-lander. Yeah, that was not a great dredge for us. Just a bunch of things that would have solved my problem. Looks like we're casting this, and we're going to be taking some natural draws. Opponent did miss their land drop, putting them on these cards and 1 mystery card. I'll try to keep all these zones in play the best I can, but we'll see as the board state develops. This might just get path. That would at least give us an additional red source, but still puts us out of using our loam engine. At least, though, the one thing about this hand that is better than an actual 1-lander is not only the ability to cast things like Bloodghast. I think I do dredge this, and the reason why is because I can also cast I can also cast Flashback Faithless Looting, and that is the one thing in this hand that is much, much better. Apologies for the delay there. Sorry, I was thinking about how many problems the second Field of Ruin may be causing us in the future, and as such, I probably want to play this, but they do have Verdict. I mean, I think I'm still interested in playing this. My opponent's going to be taxing our mana pretty quickly here. I mean, obviously they're going to pop one of these, blow that up, and give us a mountain. They may not realize it, but it is a strip mine now. They might be thinking that, like many other dredge decks... Oh, they are Jeskai. Okay. They might be thinking that, like many other dredge decks, we could have 2 mountains. Ooh, Haunted Dead was really good there. Another thing that makes this not a true 1-lander, right? They will probably use their Field of Ruin here anyway, even if they do believe that I have another mountain. So I definitely just Dark Blast this, right? They do have a Snapcaster. I don't have a land, and I have all my Dakmars in play, and I don't have my Loam engine. I guess that means I don't actually Dark Blast it. Because without taking a bunch of natural draws, there's no way for me to return this with all Dakmars in play. I'm going to say no to this. Which should give away the secret. Should definitely give that away. So we're going to be activating this Haunted Dead, discarding Loam Amalgam. Yeah. So, I mean, I could have Dark Blast my own guy anyway, I guess, since, like, they're not going to be putting the Snap in play anytime soon, right? Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to have done it anyway. It probably just doesn't matter, honestly, but... I mean, maybe I'll be forced into taking some natural draws down the road and actually be able to recur that. My opponent did not give themselves the ability to cast Verdict with that Field of Ruin. But they did give themselves the ability to cast their Cryptics, so I guess that makes some sense. Yeah, I guess that's just way better, yeah. They're going to be tapping our team for a while. This game looks like it's going to be tough for us, unfortunately. Them being on Jeskai is also a little bit worse for us in general. Although, I mean, with multiple Field of Ruins, they're probably going to look a little bit more like blue-white than the average Jeskai list. But I guess we'll see. With our opponent blowing up that Dakmor Salvage, I would have been able to get our guy back. I think with the Prized Amalgam in our yard... I just want to look at more cards here. We did hit a Faithless Looting, which our opponent can definitely counter. But if I don't do it main one, then they don't get to tap my team, of course. So we'll see how they decide to play this. They could go for like Snap Path block this turn, except blocking this is not appealing. So they probably won't do that. But they could Snap Path and just take 2 and leave Snap in play. Looks like they're going to go for Cryptic Tap Draw. If that's the case, we get to looting without fear. Oh, no. That is a real bummer. Gosh, that's not good. I clicked once through there by accident. One too many clicks, and did not get to do that. Troublesome. All right, well, with where we're at now... looks like I'm just dredging loam, so there's no real reason for me to Dark Blast unless I want to double Dark Blast my own Haunted Dead, which I don't find particularly appealing, so yeah, I just dredge this again. I'll worry about dredging this deck more if I find a Bloodghast. I'm kind of hoping for Narcomoeba or something to have for future amalgams, although I have this for future amalgams if it doesn't get pathed. So my opponent does not tap my team here. We do get to bash. So what are they interested in doing instead? Taking it. Why does my opponent want to take this? Guess they want to counter this looting, but... I mean, we just pass if this is the case. They could, like, bounce a Dakmor, I guess. Return Haunted Dead? Okay. Yeah, that's not unreasonable. That way they can actually Verdict. I guess that's their line. Return Haunted Dead so that Verdict's not so bad. But then I just get to Dredge Stinky, Flashback Faithless Looting. And if they don't have a land plus a 2-mana counterspell, we get to definitely resolve that. Johnny Vengeant. Okay. Minus on the amalgam. Obviously, Dark Blast doesn't change anything here. Oh, excuse me, plus on the amalgam. All right. No reason to Dark Blast here, right? There's Dakmor and Loam in the yard. So I guess if I like Dredge, Loam, miss on Dredger, there could be a reason to have this in the yard. I think that's unlikely. Yeah, don't have the second red source, unfortunately, which is going to make this game tough if I can't find a way to break through here. Opponent also has this verdict. I mean, I still get to looting and pitch this dead, which is going to make this game tough for them, I suppose. Dead's just going to be really good here. But you see how, like, we've had to play this whole game in, like, a very weird way because we don't have our Loam engine up, right? That's the big appeal to mulliganing the hand that we chose not to mulligan here. These Meebas are going to bite it to this verdict, but that's just fine. I need to pitch this dead and this thug and hold on to the salvage in case I find some bloodghasts. It's kind of a bummer that we didn't find any there, actually. I mean, having the haste would have just closed out the game right now, but oh well. Maybe if I had fired off the Dark Blast, you know, if there's, for example, if there's like a Bloodghast on top of my deck right now, if I'd fired off the Dark Blast on my own guy and dredged it, the Dark Blast that is, then I would have, instead of the deck more, then I would have seen one more card, and maybe that would have been the Bloodghast I needed. Something to think about, I suppose. So my opponent's pretty pigeonholed into casting this verdict. Hopefully that means I get to untap, dredge this Stinkweed, and find one of our 3 remaining Bloodghasts to finish the game, since Conflagrate's out of the question. Alright, there's the verdict that we knew was coming. Oh, right, they get to minus. That's my mistake. I forgot they'd get to minus my dome. So we'd have to hit all 3 to close the game right here, but we'd still be in a fine spot. Meeba. But no ghasts. That's quite alright. I guess with the Haunted Dead too, though. It's just pretty good overall. I definitely don't want to spend my mana here. I want to put my opponent in the position where I can still activate Haunted Dead if they snap Wrath. So we just pass with a lethal board state, a way to return Bloodghasts, and a Dark Blast, which probably won't be relevant, but looks like they're probably going to have to do some cryptic shenanigans for a few turns, which should be still a pretty good deal for our opponent with the Ajani where it is. Tap land. So they're going to have to spend the Cryptic first, but they still get to like snap, Cryptic, bounce, snap. I do have the Dark Blast though to throw a wrench in that plan, so target our mountain, sure. I guess I start taking natural draws to try and change the dynamic that we have now. Blackleaf Cliff's not solving the problem. Actually, I guess it does. Sorry, it gives us double red. I'm thinking the Loam engine problem, but it solves the Conflagrate problem. It solves one of our problems. One of our many problems. So this gets tapped. We play this. Say go, still have the Haunted Dead, still have the Dark Blast. Dark Blast important again because of the snap Cryptic stuff. Oh, yeah, okay. Once again, forgetting that this does not solve the problem. But at least it stops them from being able to reliably menace, I guess, if that was something that they wanted to do, although unlikely that was the case. No reason to Haunted Dead here, realistically, right? I mean, I guess they could stop my assault. I just don't want them to be able to path the Haunted Dead, though. They could stop my assault by, like, blocking and having path, right? They wouldn't die if that was the case. Let's take another natural draw. Keep trying to solve the problem. Cathartic's not the worst, but then it puts down Haunted Dead. I guess I could play the salvage so the next turn I could Cathartic. There's the snap. I assume we go for the old tap your team bounce snap, but maybe they remember I have this Dark Blast and know it's not going to work out. I kind of feel like they have to make me do it, though, because the game changes so dramatically if they get to bounce the snap. I mean, maybe they have another snap, and it doesn't matter. Even if they have another snap, they probably want to make me do that. Return my mountain to my hand now. Strange. I mean, we're going to begin combat steps, so I can't do anything with the floating mana that's appealing, but sure. I guess I still play the salvage. I'm going to be taking natural draws with this off next turn. And I don't want to put the Haunted Dead down. Well, if I Dark Blast, then I won't have the Haunt. No, there's no reason I'm going to have to Dark Blast on their turn. So yeah, I guess I play this so that I still have Haunted Dead up, and then next turn could Cathartic into some natural draws. And still leave up Haunted Dead. Assuming my opponent pluses there. No, they minus. So they're baiting me. There's like no reason for them to... I guess they could have Detention Sphere. But they want me to Dark Blast this, right? I feel like they must want me to blast that so that they could, like, Cryptic Bounce. We have no information about their hand now. I guess I don't have lethal. Maybe that's why they do that. But then why wouldn't they just hit this? Oh, because I get to return to the Haunted Dead. But I still would rather just Haunted Dead this turn anyway. So I guess it just doesn't change anything. Oh, I'm still in their main. We don't want to do it that way because then they could Wrath. My mistake. Didn't mean to do it that way. All right, so go to their end. Discard Stinky Loam. I guess Loam. I mean, I'm also going to get Conflagrate this turn now that they've tapped it this way. I guess now we just dig for Blood Gas instead of taking a natural draw. Now that the game has changed again, and we have a land to play. This has been a really interesting game. Like, I feel like my lines have needed to change, like, very often, and we're probably wrong very often as well. But I've certainly enjoyed this game. I think I lead on play land. I mean, on board they have block. So I guess this puts them dead on board without the Conflagrate having to resolve. Whereas otherwise they're not, so I think I like it this way. Can I do it this way? All right. Chip in with everything. I should probably have... Okay, well, we'll just Dark Blast this response. Okay, another snap. Target path. They must have like a 2-mana counterspell for... I mean, at this point, it would be very unusual for them to not have some form of 2-mana counterspell. If they happen to be playing Mana Leak, I could not Dark Blast so that I'd be playing around Mana Leak, but I find it much more likely that my opponent's playing Logic Knot. I mean, they are playing like the Jeskai control, like, you know, more long game control, like similar to Blue-White, right? I mean, they've got Field of Ruin, they're less red intensive. They have stuff like Ajani. I think I will Dark Blast. Block Haunted dead. Path Prize Amalgam is dead, right? Yeah. Block Prized Amalgam, Path Prized Amalgam is dead. 8 since we Dark Blasted. Yeah, I mean, pass priority. Get like Helix Path. 3, 6, 8. Still pass priority. Okay, they have Bolt. And still 2 mana up. Yeah, I mean... I find it hard to believe that it's not correct to try and kill my opponent here. Take that up to 2. I mean, they very likely have a way to interact, but... we ended up with... I guess we ended up with Bloodghast in the yard, not the Haunted Dead, but... ditch Stinky Loam. Yeah, so this is likely a Logic Knot. If it's a Mana Leak, I'll feel a little silly, but... okay. Will not pay for Logic Knot. All right. This game is so much harder without the Loam engine. Minus with the Ajani, but I get to untap both my red sources again now. Assuredly they have counter magic, otherwise they would not do that. Amoeba. So I have 1 Narcomoeba left. That's not very good odds. So I probably don't dredge. I probably take a natural draw. Then I go to combat first and bash. I can also dredge the Dark Blast, so I could double Dark Blast my own Haunted Dead, I guess. Could also just hardcast this Stinkweed Imp. Not worry about this Cathartic Reunion nonsense. The problem with hardcast Stinkweed Imp and try to Conflagrate is then I don't have the cards for Haunted Dead if they Wrath me. Not having cards for Haunted Dead seems like a mistake. It's the same problem if I Cathartic and it gets countered. So, honestly, it might just be Stinky Pass. Gosh, they've been through a lot of counter magic, though. Maybe I'm supposed to just go for it. Yeah, especially because it's probably not going to be cryptic, so it has to be like another Logic Knot. I should have just done this first. All right. Post board. Relic seems like the most likely hate. It's possible for my opponent to have Surgical. It's possible for my opponent to have Rest in Peace, but Rest in Peace not very appealing in their Logic Knot, like quad Snapcaster deck. So I doubt Rest in Peace. Much more likely to find Relics and Surgicals and things like that. As such, there's really not a lot I can do. I mean, I want to bring in some ways to deal with Relic Surgical, I can't really play around. They could also have anger. Maybe one. I think maybe two, but their particular list is not very red heavy. They're much more likely to be on like Quellers and stuff like that. That's the advantage of decays, I guess. It also kills Quellers. On top of dealing with relics. I don't want a lot of cards that deal with relic. Not super interested in this Dark Blast. So I think I'm interested in decays. And I think I'm interested in the extra brutalities. Driven to Despair definitely seems correct here. Haunted Dead is excellent here. I don't think I want to go deeper just to kill relics more often, since for relics to be particularly effective, my opponent has to destroy them themselves anyway. Don't think I want the lightning axes. Guess I can't really afford to cut that here. This is going to be a struggle. Might have to cut 2 of these anyway, since I brought in more enablers here, right? It's always kind of like when you're bringing in these enablers, whether it's axes, Dark Blast, even, you're usually going to have to shave on neonates. I think I'm comfortable shaving another neonate here. This is not a matchup where I need to be particularly explosive all the time. It's definitely a matchup where sometimes I'm going to want to be careful about getting angered or whatever. I'm going to have to turn on a light in here, man. My lighting on my camera is all whacked out. Here, let's try that real quick. 1 second. It gets darker so much earlier. It's still not great, but it's a little better. We'll deal with that for now. It's a fine current solution. This hand has an enabler, but not much else. We cannot really get away with that. At least this hand has green mana. And it does have, it is functional, right? We have a Dredger and an enabler, so it doesn't beat hate by itself, but we're keeping. I don't really want to draw this, but scrying to the bottom is kind of a bummer since I don't really shuffle myself. My opponent will shuffle my library with some frequency, though, so I guess it's not a huge deal. All right, Bloodghast. Opt. So, end of their main. We are going to dredge this. Hit a looting, but nothing else of consequence. Forced to take a natural draw. Cathartic, obviously the best possible. Opponent easily can have counter magic for it, but we're still okay with the situation that this gets countered. So, let's ditch these. Go for max greed here. Yeah, opponent does have interaction. No big deal, though. Still happy with pitching Thug and Ghast and trading with our opponent's counter magic. Hit another Thug. Let's get this Ghast here. I'm going to be able to flashback Faithless Looting next turn, so I could opt to not cast this, but I feel like there's a pretty high percentage chance my opponent's going to be able to interact with this Faithless Looting anyway, making this this sort of not that exciting to have in my hand. Plus, I'm going to have like these Thugs to pitch already, right? It's like not like this really changes much, so I don't think there's a real reason not to get this into play. Opt Path. So we get to shuffle that Driven and Despair back in, I guess. Not that it would be particularly exciting in our current position anyway. But we'll still take it. Opponent misses a land drop. So they got a lot of action. There's Narcomoeba driven into Despair and Prized Amalgam. Is looking much more exciting for next turn. Bash with this Thug up front. And then flashback looting. Alternatively, I could go Thug. I don't think that's bad since we're trying to set up for this Driven to Despair, but if my opponent has interaction, then that doesn't set us up quite as well. And if they do have interaction, they're probably going to want to blow it on this anyway. And then maybe my Driven to Despair will still be reasonable. I mean, as long as if we're casting a spell every turn that our opponent wants to counter, I'm cool with that. It's going to be like a Spell Queller, I guess. No, another Water Knot, sure. So now we get this Prized Amalgam into play. Our opponent uses another counter spell. If they like draw, play a land, say go, I mean, I guess then they could like Cryptic Tap. That would be not so good. I mean, I'm interested in casting another spell that my opponent's going to want to counter here. That one resolved. They can't Cryptic Tap. I mean, they could have like Snap, Path, block. I guess they can't block it as Menace. So they could have like Path Helix, or Path or Path Bolt, and then only have to discard one card. They do have a Helix here for my Narcomoeba. But that's still them effectively discarding. We'll call it effectively discarding 3 cards. Still not the worst turn for us. Opponent ditches a Vengeance and a Snap. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And we'll cast this Thug. They missed their land once again. We drew another good one. Bash. See if our opponent has anything to say about that. We have not drawn badly this game, I'll tell you that. No. They did find a Spell Queller. Alright, that's fine. At least we got to bin this Amalgam Thug. I found a field. They can cut us off a green now. That's a pretty big game. Also, it looks like they're interested in Crypticking this turn. What? What? Magic Online, why? How did it turn that attack off? I don't understand. Oh well. That's frustrating. This game's gonna be a lot harder now. All right. Need to not tilt about that. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for me to chump this. I think I'm fine dredging the Stinkweed It, but still a fine thing for me to cast. There's Bloodghast. I don't have the other Jackmore yet. Okay, we are allowed to attack this time. How exciting. Surprised we didn't get tapped, but... Okay, that explains that. I should have been able to figure that out after we didn't get tapped. I don't know why I didn't play around that. Just didn't consider, like, that's like the only thing they could have there. It's a really loose attack. I should have just attacked with... I don't remember which. I should have... Obviously, just should have made a more conservative attack. And I'm going to lose because of it. Oh well. Hopefully I learned a lesson there. Draw Stinky. Alright, we'll cast that. Might just have another removal spell for Stinky here. Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, I can... Okay, sure. I was going to say I could dredge it, though, so they're... I mean, they could minus again and hopefully find a way, maybe find a land. I think it might have actually been correct to kill this, right? Like, kill this bash, put me to 8. They go to 13. I dredge this, cast it again. How many Narcomoebs have I been through? Only 2. Maybe I am supposed to be dredging here. I only have 1 prize amalgam in my yard, though. I need to pick up the pace, actually. This there could be another game. Let's just natural draw here. Found a land for this Bloodghast. It will have haste. Cast this first. My attack is not exciting. I think I sit. Gosh, I should not have taken that much time on that decision. Spent probably 15 seconds on that attack decision. Can't do that at this point. Gonna have to just make faster ones. That colonnade's gonna certainly be an irritant this game. I think I'm just gonna have to take a another natural draw here, though. Not great. Yeah, I really just can't afford to attack with a Stinkweed Up. Still spent too much time on it. I keep trying to reevaluate. There's no time for that. I gotta worry about this colonnade chipping in alongside the Queller. Alright, that'll certainly help us here. Still no attacks. Mine, mine, mine. All the gemstones. Opponent snares this, doesn't matter. Could get a Johnny alted, but if I resolve a loam, we actually kind of don't care about that. Oh, I guess the spell snare does matter because they get to take up on that. Yeah, that's my bad. Spell snare definitely matters there. I mean, at least this gets to untap. So I have like reasonable attacks. Natural draw. Okay. Eight. Now I can't make those attacks. Don't have time. No time at all. Just eat the Bloodghast. Shani goes down. Bring it back. Okay, we died. Attack us with colonnade, 6-8, and a Johnny menace for the last last couple points. Maybe I don't attack with the Stinkweed there. Just worried about not getting enough damage through the Ajani and having it ult and kill all our green sources. Or all of our sources, rather. I guess, they didn't have any profitable blocks for this to make that happen. No, they could have just blocked with this, right? They had mana up. Anyway, we'll have to play a quick game 3 here. One moment. All right. I don't think there's really anything we realistically want to change here. Maybe I don't need all these brutalities. I think they're fine, though, even if my opponent's not really likely to be on many anger. Plus, turns out they have settles, right, that we need to worry about that I did not play around. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Opponent is reconsidering some of their sideboard decisions here. I still don't think there's enough reason for Lightning Axe, but I could potentially have one over one of these Neonates. The problem is that early it just doesn't serve as an enabler like my Neonate does. Obviously late it can be particularly good against a Spell Queller, even kills a Colonnade. I kind of like that exchange, but it is a little greedy in the sense that, like, I have less early enablers. You know what? I'm gonna go for it. I might pay for it, but we'll find out. Alright, we're gonna have to play fast here. Our hand is not keepable here. This hand is keepable, but needs help. Yeah, that's the help we needed. I think I want to keep both these brutalities. If I hit another Dredger, I'll be more excited about casting Faithless Looting. If I don't, I'll be more excited about Brutality. Obviously, Brutality can get spell snared, though. I did hit another Dredger. In fact, 2, so. Discard both of these. Could hold. Actually, I could have discarded one of these thugs instead. Yes. 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 Alright, didn't actually have that exciting of a dredge there. Didn't get a lot in play, but this turn we'll probably dredge the loam. Unfortunately, I'm not going to really be in a great position to cast the loam, so maybe I don't. I basically have to Brutality if my opponent gets a red source here. They did not. So I'm not forced to Brutality. Oh, geez, they do have Rip. Alright, so we're going to be hard casting some guys. I'm surprised. I didn't think they would really be able to support it, with Logic Knot in particular, but they might still just have, like, one. Oops. darn. Don't have time for these misclicks. Drain you. Look at your hand. Path Helix Cryptic. They don't have the mana for Helix yet. Hopefully they don't draw it, because that would be real bad, but it's even a painless source. That's so bad for me there. Oh man, that's rough. Oh man, that even leads them into this Cryptic, so I kind of have to Brutality here. Let's just bad Duress. This is gonna be a tough one. We have the decays to deal, right? But that's it. Oh no, would they draw now? Okay, just fielding, sure. Cut us off black. Oh wait, we're through our mountain already? Oh no. That's not good. That's real bad. We're gonna be on no mana and a heartbeat here. I thought we still had our mountain, so I wasn't as concerned about that possibility. Jeez. Tell me you screwed to the bottom. Alright, we at least got that. We at least got that. They're going to have to draw pretty badly here for us to get there. Alright, no mana sources. At least we're not going to die to time. At least we got that going on. Sure, that's fine. Lands are fine. We could use some, but I'm not complaining. I mean, I guess I sort of am. No, don't fetch. Hopefully it's just the F6 value fetch. Alright. Okay. Come on, brick. Come on, brick. Alright. That's what we like to see. Amalgam showing up. I mean, our draws are good for when there's a Rest in Peace in play. Unfortunately, we have no mana sources, so they're not quite as good. Yeah, okay. That was not a brick. That was definitely not a brick. Yeah. Okay. Can't guess that one. Also not a brick. That was a very, very good one, actually. Can't really tap this for the Faithless Looting because my opponent has an Ajani Vengeance. Well, both teams fought hard, as they say. We tried our very best. Celestial Colonnade's gonna come say hello. It's possible I needed to loot that turn anyway. If we miss land here, I probably will. Ooh. I can't pass up on the axe value. I really should though. Oh, they have another colonnade. That's gonna not pan out very well for me. This ended up being a little bit of a mistake. And it's gonna get countered. I don't understand countering this if you have to tap the colonnade. Like you have another colonnade, really. I don't really get it. Fetching my upkeep now. Sure. Brick. Does kill the Rest in Peace. I mean, I guess they're sort of close to double Animate Colonnade, but Down to 10, brick. At least we had an interesting game one. If I saw this board state, I would assume that the Ajani player had got to ultimate it. Somehow not the case. We just, like, got Field of Ruins twice, and that was it. I did discard a land this game, didn't I? Off something early. Discarded a Gorge, I think. So that feels kind of bad in retrospect. Opponent just minuses the Ajani here, and we die. Yep. All right. Well, we tried our best. We'll see you just a moment for the wrap-up.